The #1 reggae radio station, on air, online, everywhere, worldwide.
We're doing a spotlight on Alpha Blondy, guys. How exciting is that? Now, let me tell you about this song, Jerusalem, that Sheriff just played. I must have been about 5 or 6 years old when I heard this song for the first time. So what was happening was I used to go to Mombasa on holiday. My mom used to drop us there at my grandma. She used to live in Sarigoi Kipande in Mombasa, yeah?
Yes.
And my uncle used to live there, and he had a record player. And so every morning, and I think it's because he's Muslim, he liked the Salam Alaikum.
Yeah, that's just the
Bro,
part too.
Your part.
Yeah.
So, and for me, I was like, what song is this that plays every day? And
Yes.
he used to wait for that Salam Alaikum.
That's like the only place everybody waits for. The only place everybody waits for. And that Jerusalem.
And let me tell you, that tune is big. It has an amazing video. You know, in that time, you can imagine when the tune came out in 86, right?
Yes.
And then a couple of years later, Alpha Blondy actually went to Jerusalem. And you can imagine a black Rasta man over there singing Jerusalem in his music video.
Yes.
And for me, I just love the whole entire message that, you know, religion is not something that can separate the human beings, you know,
Yes,
and that's
yes.
a really big tune. And as we told you, we're doing a spotlight on Alpha Blondy, born Seydou Kone, actually born 1953, 1st January in Dimbokro, Ivory Coast. He's a reggae singer and an international recording artist.
Yes, and of course, you know, many of his songs are politically and socially motivated and are mainly sung in his native language of Dioula, French and English, although he occasionally uses other languages, for example, Arabic and Hebrew.
Yes, I. So
Kama hiyo ngoma imeanza Jerusalem, hiyo anza na Hebrew?
I think
it's
so. Hebrew, yeah. And I just love the fact that Alpha Blondy has stood the test of time. We recently saw our very own president, His
Yes.
Excellency, dancing away to Alpha Blondy. Now, listen, a lot of reggae, to UB40, a lot of reggae artists have come before.
Yes.
And I loved Alpha Blondy's show. The energy, I could see from the people who are posting it here. The vibes were super nice. I wasn't able to go. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was following closely. And yeah, it was just a super thing. And when I was talking about the president, it wasn't, he was at the UB40 concert, but he said something about Alpha Blondy and one of his favorite songs in an interview before. Alpha Blondy, Bob Marley, those are the type of, and yes, Alpha Blondy is one of those people you can learn the language just by listening to his tunes because you want to sing along to that. And yes, it's Spotlight like every other Tuesday right here on Vibes Radio, Season Circle. And yes, a legendary, our very own African legend superstar, Alpha Blondy. And yeah, we've been playing you a couple of tunes from Jerusalem album, and we have a couple of more coming. First son of a family of 8 children. I didn't know that. 8 children, and he was a firstborn. He was raised by his grandmother in an environment described by him as among elders, which was to have a big impact on his career. I think this is something very important. You know, a lot of youths, they don't spend time around the elders. And then he was...
But this affected his schooling, and he was expelled for poor performance.
Vibes Nation, are you on my witness sentence that the guy was expelled? But let me tell you something, Sheriff. Some of the greatest people, including me, the Roots daughter, were expelled.
Oh, really?
Yeah. From school.
Mimi, I think I was suspended.
But you never reached the graduation point of expulsion.
At ilko graduation point.
Ya maodi wale
Mimi sasa
wabaya.
nilikuwa kwa drama club. You should see me those Sisal
That's
skirt.
why you're so dramatic. Makes a lot of sense. Na Sisal skirt. Rasta, do you hear this man? He's telling us on live radio he was in wearing Sisal skirts.
I used to go and sing in front of the president. Come on. Mass choir na drama club.
Naomba kila mtu nyumbani amwombee Sheriff Mungu. Maana leo vile amejitoa hapa. Kwanza ametuambia aliexpeliwa. Second alikuwa na Sisal skirt. Man.
Si ndio tulikuwa kwa drama club.
Ilikuwa
tuna dance. Ilikuwa
mimi mwenyewe ni empress na sikuwa hivi
Sisal skirt. If you were in a boys school and you had to do a cultural dance and it was a Luo dance,
I would be right at home in my jeans.
Now, his parents sent him to study English in Monrovia, the capital city of Liberia, in 1973. He spent 13 months there and then moved to the United States to improve his English.
Na hiyo ni life poa sana. In 1973, you're moving to United States to improve your English. Hey, Rasta.
But I don't think it really improved.
it sound so nice, big up for that. And yeah, as we said, he moved to improve his English. In 1974 he moved to New York, where he majored in English at Hunter College, and the Columbia University American Language Program, because he wanted to be a teacher actually. And in New York he met some Rastafarians for the first time and saw concerts by Jamaican artists such as Burning Spear. So this must have been the beginning of his motivation,
Yes, and Sido was involved in multiple altercations. Inakanim to left yake na right left
ziko hapa tu zinamwasha, ziko karibu sana.
Yes, sasa zingine ukimkatia kidogo poof.
It's very hard to picture this old man right now being that guy, but in your youth is when you can show people. Never, and I never want to be chapwa na ngumi. That's called that.
Zile ngumi zinaga effect kwa ukiwatch movie. Haina effect ni to.
That's so crazy.
So Sido was involved in multiple altercations, and he returned to Ivory Coast, where he got into more trouble until he met one of his childhood friends, Fulgens Cassie, who had become a noted television producer. This was the beginning of his real career as a musician, and he began to use the name Alpha Blondy.
And I love it because you know what? A lot of us, Sheriff, if we go back to a lot of people who have actually come a long way, mature, working, relaxed. If you go back to their history, there's always some trouble, some rebelliousness,
Yes.
But it's nice to see how someone comes out of that rebelliousness, and then when they get a direction, especially in music, their life changes.
Yes.
And for me, that's what Alpha Blondy's story is about, coming all the way from here, going to the States in the 70s to be a teacher of English, and then ending up being one of the most legendary reggae, artists from Africa. And yes, man, it's spotlight here on Seas and Sekal. I can see a lot of people on the Vibes Nation still bigging up Alpha Blondy. I don't know if you've seen that.
Of course, I see DJ Nadra saying keep the fire burning. Alpha Blondy ni ule mnoma ule umesoma. And Peter Tosh Brian sama Kechi should be a Peter Tosh we boss. Tunaongea mambo ya nini sahi? Mambo ya Alpha. Marando Ben says he's tuned in, and in fact he loves most of Alpha Blondy's jumps. Give thanks. I see also Rat Race na pia hiyo umepitia. I see Mike Chahira.
Kuna swali ya Mike Chahira that I want you to respond to.
Yes, why didn't he do a collab with Lucky Dube? Request free by Alpha and Taras Riley or Prophets. What happened to the concert with DeMarco in KCC? Yes, good questions, Mike Chahira. I was part of that. I was part of that event.
Okay.
Yes. What happened? First of all, the promoter.
Yeah.
Hakomemalizana na kulipa wasanii. Okay.
Wow.
So we see. This is one of the problems that we face when you're going into the industry.
Yeah.
We were dealing with a promoter likometoka out of the country, so he gave us the mandate to organize the local show.
Yeah.
But apparently hakomemaliza kulipa hawa wasanii. When matters came to a head, mimi ndo nilikuwa kwa stage, chupa nilikuwa nadaka tu.
Alpha Blondy has my heart today, totally. Those songs, narudi just back to when I was 5-6 years old, listening to my Uncle Ali. Big up on yourself, Uncle Ali, wherever you are, because he played a lot of Alpha Blondy until ilibidi nijo Alpha Blondy ni nani.
Ilibidi teremka kwa kichwa.
Yeah, so by the time I grew up and found out who he was, I was just like, wow, I used to listen to this when I was a kid, It's one of those songs or those artists that I really relate to with my holidays when I used to go visit my grandma in Mombasa. Yeah, man.
Yes, at the beginning of 1993, one out of a world tour, Blondie succumbed to depression and was taken into an institution for psychiatric help. But as his health recovered and he recorded the album Dio, God, on which he appears more spiritual and religious on tracks such as Heal Me, about his illness and recovery.
That's amazing. I think it's challenging being an artist because not many people would expect somebody like Alpha Blondy to succumb to depression. But you know what happens, Sheriff? You know this very well as a DJ.
Yes.
So many people expect, including your close friends, they'll be like, star. He's surrounded by people. He's always got people. But the truth of the matter is, most of your time you feel alone. You're playing in different clubs, in different countries, in different communities that you don't know if they know you, but you don't know them. And so after being on tour for a long time, it can actually drive you crazy. It can make you feel a certain way, especially because people really like to take from artists. When I say take, when you see an artist, you never give them a good message like, thank you for inspiring me, and just walk off. It's all about, can I have an autograph? Can I have a picture? I want to tell people I met you. And after a couple of years of that, it really can mess with your mind. For
Yes.
me, it did. And for me, I didn't go to an institution. I went to Lamu Island.
Talking about that, what you just said, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they asked me that, Sheriff, you guys seem to be having a lot of fun. You're having fun playing different clubs.
Yeah.
You've gone out of the country, international tours. I told them, trust me,
It's hard work.
it looks like you're having fun,
yeah.
but at some point it gets really lonely.
It gets very lonely.
So they're asking me, how is it lonely? You've got guys around you and stuff. I told them,
I don't know
listen,
those people. Sometimes we just work together.
Listen, it's lonely at the top. It's lonely at the top. 'Cause
Very lonely at the
there,
top.
you've got a manager trying to ask you to putting in a special room
Yeah.
for artists. That is free.
Yeah.
That's yours.
Yeah.
Outside the room, there's bouncers, there's
Yeah.
etc. So you're being prepared to do your show. From there, everybody's controlling your
Sheriff,
life.
me, I
Fanya
used to
hivi.
run away from those backstages and what. Najikuta ndani ya crowd because
Yes.
I'm like, I'm missing the experience that other people are having. And me, I'm just sitting here having a really boring time. You know what I mean? So I totally understand how Alpha Blondy would go into depression, or any other artist. We've had cases of artists even committing suicide,
yes.
yeah? And Alpha Blondy was born to a Muslim father and a Christian mother, and was brought up by a grandmother who taught him to love everyone. Blondy's respect for all religions and the spirituality he derives from them can be heard on the tracks God Is One or Jerusalem, where he sang for unity among all religions in 1986. So yes, we're still here on the spotlight, and when we come back, we're going to be playing you another big tune from Alpha Blondy. But before that, just take a little breath. And yes, if you didn't know what it means soldier, have pity. Yeah, man. Because Brigadier mara nyingine hawana huruma, soldier them. So yeah, man, that's a big tune, talking to all the soldier to have pity. And let me tell you, this spotlight for me has gone too fast because I was just enjoying myself. What? Some really, really big tunes. We also played Cocody Rock off the Cocody Rock album that came out in 1984, as well as other tunes. And yes, just want to say big up to everybody who's been writing us in, telling us their favorite Alpha Blondy tune, and just for joining us on this spotlight. It's been amazing. Big up Muzikal Sheriff for choosing them mad tunes for we. And of course, we played you Masada. We played Peace in Liberia. We played Jerusalem.
Yes.
Apartheid is Nazism. And Sebe Alaye. You just, man, killed
I
it.
missed the tune.
You killed it.
Thank you.
You killed it. And we're going to be playing you one more tune, of course, to end this amazing spotlight of Alpha Blondy. And coming up on the next hour is Wagwan, where you can give us a call. Tell us, what are your favorite Alpha Blondy tunes? Did you enjoy the spotlight? And just tell us Wagwan around the place.
The #1 reggae radio station, on air, online, everywhere, worldwide.